Welcome, yogis, to your Maya Align practice today. Today's practice is wear your heart on your sleeves. I'd like to invite you to join me in a hero pose with some support. And maybe that support is a bolster running up and down the mat. And we're going to be settling into our seat here for our pranayama, our opening breath work, to begin connecting to our body, connecting to our breath, and to prepare the mind, the heart, the physical body for practice. Knees nice and wide, and you can tuck the toes in quite close to the bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can take a seat upon your cork block and take the same posture. If you do have two blocks handy, hit pause and grab those now, as we'll be utilising both in today's practice. Our Dirga Pranayama that we've been working with, our 3-part breath, we're breaking that down just a little further today. As we begin, we'll take 3 clearing breaths before sinking into our 3-part breath. The breath practice today, I'm looking to really slow down the nervous system, slow things down enough within you that you're able to close down and turn inward to your heart, to your breath, to your inner being, connecting to your intuition and your gut. And so you're able to more deeply connect to your body and all of the sensations as they arise throughout your practice today. Now that you're in your comfortable seat, our clearing breaths, we're going to be taking a 6-count inhale. We'll create a seal with the top lip placed upon the bottom, and our inhale drawing for the length of 6 counts. To do this initially with these 3 breaths, I want you to place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly, and just become the watcher, noticing where you naturally draw your breath to. And throughout these 3 breaths, deepen and try to sense a stimulation around the depths of the low belly throughout that 6 counts. We'll begin together. Deep inhale now through the nose. A count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and release. And 2 more breaths. Inhale and feel the left hand lift. 1, 2, feel the ribs expand. 2, feel the low belly expand. And slow release. 1 more breath here, inhale. And slow releasing, exhale out of the nose. And settle the breath and keep the eyes closed down as we now begin connecting to our Dirga, just as you've been doing with the long, slow inhale. Just directing the breath and sensing the breath, taking both hands now, directing and sensing the breath within the body, where it connects, taking both hands now to the low belly, and send your first counts here. Inhale. 2 counts to the mid ribs. 2 more counts to the upper lobes of the lungs. Reversing that, upper lobes release first. Mid ribs. And low belly draws in. 4 more rounds just like that. Inhale to the belly. Inhale to mid ribs. Inhale to upper lungs. Reverse upper lungs. Mid ribs. low belly. Maybe releasing your hands now if you're able to sense this. Round 3, begin. To the belly, mid ribs, upper chest. Reversing your journey as you release into the mid and to the lower. 2 more rounds, sinking in and allowing this to become a natural rhythmical increase as the inhalation ripples up and completely fills throughout the 6 counts your entire core, mid belly, upper lobes, and slowly exhale, reversing that journey. Inhale and allow the breath to ripple through the spine, filling and slowly expanding. And as you exhale, reversing that, slowly releasing the journey of breath. With the eyes still closed down, and turn the palms down to the thighs and create space between the shoulders and the ears. Settling here into stillness with the eyes closed down, notice the effect upon the physical body our breath can have. Now, Dirga, stimulating the stress responses in a calming, soothing manner. And we're able to reduce stress and release stress with this breath. Feeling more grounded, more centered, feeling calm, connected. Now, Dirga Pranayama reduces blood pressure and allows you to connect to the present moment. And turning your gaze inward, feeling all of the effects. And we'll come back to your Dirga Pranayama if you feel you're able to during our postures today. But for now, gently blink open the eyes. Hopefully already feeling a whole lot more calm and soothed, ready to begin your asana, your postures, and shift from your seat, creating new seats. Releasing from the ankles and drawing the soles of the feet out nice and wide on that 45-degree angle. We're going to press hands into the knees and draw to rise. Fingertips meet the mat, and we'll turn the heels out and take the elbows. Gentle sway here as you rock and roll, releasing through the low back, your QL. Releasing through the hamstrings, all of those muscles of the back body, the posterior fascia, the muscles that run the lengths of the back body, the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes. Checking in with any held contraction through the neck, and allow that to hang heavy too. Maybe taking the hands to the neck and giving yourself a little bit of extra love here to assist in that release. Fingertips back to the earth. Let's halfway lift. Heels draw back in and slowly find your way back to your seat. Drawing into prayer, and elbows draw inside the knees today, resting here in our supported Malasana. Our Malasana, our Garland Pose. Our Garland Pose allows us to wear our body around our neck like a jewel. And today, that jewel is you. You are the gift. And you'll be wearing yourself and your heart upon your sleeves. Our peak posture that we're working with today is a Bakasana and a Kakasana. And our Bakasana, as you sit sinking into your Malasana, I'll show you where we're heading to. And as I take you through the two postures that we're playing with, invite you to release out of the prayer and connect each of the fingertips, finding a deeper opening for the pelvis. But just a gentle rock and roll here of the hips as you draw back into prayer. And as you play through this gentle little connection, I want you to be working actively to draw the knees inward as much as drawing the shoulders and the elbows out to meet the knees. A connection and a contraction that works simultaneously. It works in both ranges. And as you play through that for just a few more moments, I'm going to be showing you the two postures that we'll play with today. So our Bakasana and Kakasana. Kakasana is often referred to as crow pose, and Bakasana is crane. So we'll be taking all of the preparatory poses to lead us to this jewel at the end. Your Kakasana with your crow, we're gripping the elbows and we take quite a deep bend through the elbows and find full flight in our crow. Our Bakasana are very similar, but we keep the arms a little straighter and we're quite a bit higher in the knees, and we're aiming to get the knees into the armpits and also look to find flight. Now both postures require hip flexion. And you'll notice as we work through our preparatory poses, the strength that's required, the misconception is that that comes solely from the upper body. And it's fair to say that there is a portion absolutely that comes from the upper body as we are working with gravity and we're supported by the hands, the arms, the elbows, the shoulders, the chest and the back. However, a lot of the strength for these postures comes from that hip flexion and work through all of the muscles of the low body, but more than anything, through the belly, through the core, splitting it three ways, just like our Dirga, muscles of the low body, muscles of the belly, and muscles of the upper body, all working simultaneously, all floating and free-flowing together. And just like with your Dirga, if we can connect all three components, you'll find that joy and that full flight with a whole lot more ease. And the postures are meant to shift you and challenge you. Yes. But they don't need to be hard. They don't need to be difficult. If you're working synergistically with the body, and if you're working with all of those areas and connecting them. Let's release out of your Malasana contractions now and take the hands down to the mat, already dropping and drawing in as you take a little walk, walking your hands forward and sinking those shoulders inside the knees. We're going to settle here for a moment, and now that contraction and release that we were playing with earlier with our elbows and knees, we're going to be playing with the knees and the shoulders here. Shoulder pressure pose, just like your Bhujapadasana, as the knees draw in, drawing to a pressure upon the shoulders. I want your shoulders to draw out as you broaden across the collarbones. And you can take that little pulsing action as the knees draw in and the shoulders draw out. And rest the fingertips or come back to that prayer or the fingertips. Knees draw in and find that pressure pose, and shoulders draw out. And as you take this prep to warm up the pelvis and the shoulders, you should feel already some sensations beginning through the back, the muscles between the shoulder blades, and also the muscles of the hips as you invite the knees in Although it's the knees that are drawing in, that contraction and that strength is coming from the hips. We'll take that a couple more times. And settle into stillness. And drawing back to your malasana. Inhale, spine nice and long. Open your mouth, exhale. And let's release the upper back a little further. And pressing into the hands and draw back into your seat once more. Heels drawing out, toes drawing in, and come back to the elbows as you find your gentle sway once more. Now that beautiful pelvic flexion that we're finding at the pelvis. Flexion is the knee drawing in, and extension is the knee drawing back when we're referencing the hip. We're going to be working to soften and to allow that flexion to take place with ease by releasing through the back body and also through the upper back. Taking your bolster now and towards the back of the mat and taking your cork blocks to the top of the mat. One cork block is going to be helping to open up the thoracic, while the other will be support for the head. You'll be creating a T shape upon your mat. And the block that is supporting your head can run across the mat, and the block that's going to be helping to open your thoracic up and down the mat. Hips to the mat, and the bolster just to the backs of the knees for support. We're going to slowly draw down to the elbows, and you'll find you'll be able to play with your positioning from here by drawing the hands in beneath the low back and positioning that block upon the thoracic spine. And so we want a free flowing hammock of the lumbar spine, support for the thoracic, and as you slowly release out of the elbows, you want that block to run the entire length of the thoracic spine, providing support. And so when you take your hands overhead, you should just be able to feel the end of that block, those top couple of points at the block, just over your traps here, just over your shoulder blades. And finding whatever point upon the block that's comfortable for your neck, and I like the medium height for this one to support me. And then once you've finished finding your adjustments, open the chest and open the palms to settle in here. Beautiful big expansion through the chest here, a nice big heart opener. And both our crow and our crane are heart openers, and they're heart openers for the back body. And you'll find when you work through postures that require strength like this, like we're playing with today in your Bakasana and your Kakasana, the mistake that we often make is assuming that it's a one-sided strength. And just like when we offer ourselves forward, when things are one-sided, when you wear your heart on your sleeve, the reward comes when you're met, you're matched, with that same level of surrender. So as we open here through our front of hearts and the muscles of the chest, we're inviting that balance between front body and back body. And back body drawing into a subtle contraction for support. As when we flip and find our postures today, we'll be calling for the opposing actions. Front body to draw in and the back body to open, to release. Now, if you come back to your Dirga here for the final few rounds of breath, notice you're able to, with the front body completely open here, find those three parts of the upper lobes of the lungs, the upper chest, the upper ribs, those mid ribs already in that expansion, and the low belly nice and loose and easily accessible. And with these final rounds, I want you to draw to the low belly first and allow a rhythmic inhale as the breath rolls up to fill all the capacity of the lungs. And reverse your journey too. Let's take that one more time. Inhaling the breath and filling the belly first. The mid ribs, the upper chest. And then releasing that breath, releasing with the upper lobes, the mid and the belly. Let's draw the palms down to connect to the mat. And draw chin into chest, releasing from that block behind you. We'll draw it out of the way. And find your way back to your elbows. Releasing the cork block from beneath your thoracic. And then drawing up to our seat here. Maybe releasing the neck and listening intuitively to the body for anything that you know you need. And from here, with the knees still upon the bolster, rested with the backs of the thighs, the bolster taking the load. We're going to take a walk, feet nice and wide, maybe adjusting the heels just a little wider if you had them shoulder width apart, and slowly sink in between the knees, maybe letting the elbows drape over the bolster here. And you can hang the head, and maybe it's supported by the bolster. And if you're still floating, offer a little more support by one cork block just in front of the bolster to let the forehead draw to rest. And as you rest here in this complete surrender, this beautiful deep forward fold, close down the gaze and turn the focus inward to the physical positioning of the body. Hamstrings open, hips open, lower back is open, the back of heart and between the shoulder blades completely open. Shoulders inside the knees, chest in that contracted state, that shortened state, the low belly in that shortened state. And although there's no load there and no loaded contraction, the shortening of the muscles, we invite first. Now we'll walk it back up and find your seat, and a little release, taking the hands to the back of the mat, fingertips to the back, and bring the outer blades of the feet on top of the bolster. Allow the knees to open in a supported Bakasana. And you can find some flow here for the knees. I'm going to be coming back into that forward fold one more time. And for the second time, once we connect into that surrender over the bolster, I'm going to be finding that synergistic contraction we found at the start of practice between the contraction of the low body and working with that to mirror and match that with the upper body. And let's find that release now, extending the legs once more. Allow the calves and hamstrings to rest upon the bolster. Take a walk, heels nice and wide, maybe toes turned out on about that 45-degree angle. Take your walk through the center of the legs, maybe dropping the block a little lower this time, and placing the hands flat upon the mat. And this time, rather than sitting in that complete surrendered state, first of all, close down the eyes and recognize that beautiful release you've found first, checking in with each of those muscles of the posterior body. And then drawing very gently the knees in towards the shoulders to meet. Knees to meet shoulders, upper arms to meet the lower legs. And you might need to adjust and take your hands a little wider here. We'll take 5 rounds of synergistic contraction as the knees draw in, the strength coming from the hips. Meet and mirror that with the shoulders and the elbows as you allow the back body to open, the shoulder blades to open. And find that equal contraction, matching the strength evenly, upper body and lower body. Exhale, relax. Inhale, contract. Exhale, relax. And take that 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale, release. Final 2 times, take a walk. And this time, elbows resting upon the bolster, palms turned open. Inhale, draw in, opening through the back body once more. Those knees now resting and contracting in towards the elbows evenly matching that pressure. And exhale, relax. Final round, palms turned down, but we keep the biceps forward and that crease in the elbows forward, just as you have with the palms open. The rotation just happening in the forearm and the wrist. Checking in that your elbows haven't folded in, that space in your biceps still drawing open, just the palms turned down. Inhale, contract. Meet and mirror that with the contraction of the upper body. And then relax. Releasing the block out from beneath the knees. Fingertips draw back. Find the outer blades of the feet resting upon the bolster once more, this time opening into your Bakasana. I will invite the upper body into play here as well. And drawing the chest open, xiphoid process forwards, drawing the shoulder blades together down the back body, and maybe taking the gaze to the sky or to the back of the room. Beautiful. Let's slowly draw the knees in. Soles of the feet now resting on the bolster. We'll kick it away just a little bit. Drawing a little higher now into your seat, and you can take a grip around the shins or the ankles to feel into some support in your tall seat. And from your tall seat, we're going to be taking just one knee at a time here to release the foot from the bolster. We'll begin with the left. Your left hand taking the outer blade of the foot and drawing that knee in for half happy baby in towards the armpit. And take an extension and release the calf upon the bolster. And that right foot now feeds underneath, allowing the right knee to fall out. Rather than softening that left leg, equal contraction here met too. Toes drawing towards the face, hamstrings flexed. As we take a walk, and your walk and your release here for this hamstring release might be just by placing the hands upon the bolster. We'll inhale and find a nice long line for the spine, or if you've got a little more space, you can take a gentle bend of the elbows. Palms are turned down. Again, coming back to that rolling out of the biceps. And slow release. Hands back behind the hips. Right knee releases out from underneath. And we'll take it back onto the bolster. And that left foot back onto the bolster. This time, your right knee up into that parallel state with the shin, right hand to the outer blade, and we'll draw the foot in, allowing the knee to draw towards the armpit. Your single side happy baby in your seat. And then slowly releasing that one out to find the leg nice and long, the calf resting upon the bolster. Left foot draws beneath. External rotation here through this left hip now, as you keep the right foot in that flexed state. And finding that contraction through the hamstring and the calf, slowly taking your walk hands to the bolster. Inhale, draw your seat long. Staying here, or exhale, bend at the elbow and draw the heart forwards towards those right toes. Maybe closing down the eyes here, keeping the spine nice and long. Beautiful. Let's draw back to your seat. Hands to the back body. Release that left foot back onto the bolster, right foot back onto the bolster. Let's walk it out a little further. Feet now to meet the mat, bolster kicked out of the way. Now, we said at the start of practice, there's 3 components and 3 points of strength that synergistically work together. The upper body, the shoulders, chest, back, the core too, and the low body. We've taken a few preparatory postures with upper body and lower body. We're going to take one more prep pose in our seat, and this will be focusing on the core. Walking out of your support from the arms, the hands, and take the palms to the shins, finding that nice tall long spine. Feet now nice and wide, at least shoulder width apart. And we're going to come back to that single side happy baby with the left foot first, drawing the left knee into the elbow, and take a moment's pause here. Right one's going to be meeting. Let's slowly draw the right up now. So beautiful. With the feet still nice and wide and your grip on the outer blades of your feet. Hamstrings nice and warm. We're going to take it just one at a time, releasing left side only. That right shin still staying parallel with the floor. And draw back into the bend. Right knee to release. And draw back into the bend. And we'll slowly take it back to the mat. And now with the feet nice and wide. Hands inside, just as if you were taking your malasana, but the hands find a grip from inside the knees to the outer blade of the left foot and the outer blade of the right. We'll take the left shin to rise and then find an extension through that left side. And draw it back into parallel, set it back down on the mat. Right heel to rise, find parallel, single side happy baby. Sole of the foot draws towards the sky, release the right hamstring, take the toes nice and high, and then draw back parallel, and then set it back up. Both feet now to release, the left to lead, and the right meets, and find your place and your point of balance. And double side happy baby. Core working here to hold the spine nice and tall and strong. And we'll find a Navasana variation here as you take an extension and a release of the hamstrings and the feet. And if the knees are still a little bent, that's cool. And let's slowly draw back in. Soles of the feet to meet the mat. Open the knees, allow them to fall to the side. As your hands meet the mat, shoulder width apart, you can take a walk or even drop down into the elbows here, hanging the head heavy, rounding out through the back body. And let's walk it back up. Hands to the back of the mat, fingertips to the back of the mat, soles of the feet to the mat. Take your walk, heel toeing out nice and wide. Windscreen wiper action for the pelvis here as you release through the hips. And let's flip your crow, your crane, and add a little bit of gravity now. And taking a cross of the feet and draw to your seat. We'll be using our bolster and our blocks for this one. Let's put this together, yogis. We've been preparing the low body, the mid body, and the upper body, our three parts, our three components. And let's sync them all together just as we do our Dirga and feel them working seamlessly together. Find them working seamlessly together in a connected state. The blocks shoulder width apart through the center of the mat, and your bolster is going to be your support for your forehead. You're going to be turning around to face the bolster and taking a little yogic squat. As you nestle in here in your yogic squat, you can allow the knees to fall out, to fold out, and your elbows to sink down in between your knees, and forearms to meet these blocks. And the knees are gripping either side of the shoulder to begin with. You can draw forwards for the forehead to rest upon the bolster or stay in your seat. A little rock and roll here feels beautiful. Wrists are hanging off the edges of the blocks. And slowly walk it back up. Knees to rest upon the blocks. Let's take a roll of the wrists as the palms meet. And your blocks now acting as a little stage, a little platform for the feet to give you an elevation and to allow you to meet that connection with the knees upon the arms with more ease. Hands this time just between the blocks and the bolster. Fingertips tucked in nice and close. So you're going to take the hips to the sky. Short little down dog as you walk it in. And slowly find your platform. Nice deep bend in the knees. Feet nice and wide. And then coming back into the ball of the foot as you sink back down into your yogic squat. Your malasana. So you can have your feet flat here or be up on the balls of your foot, whatever's comfortable for you. With the hands now tucked in behind the bolster, we'll take the hips to the sky. Rotate those heels out, toes in, feet are nice and flat here, and we'll come back to that hanging the head and neck. Fingertips maybe now draping to the mat. Length through the entire back body. And setting the hands up, shoulder width apart, heels draw in, toes draw out. And as you take that flexion in the hips, we're going to take a bend in the knees and set the knees up outside the elbows. With the knees outside the elbows, you're slowly going to invite the weight forwards just for that forehead to meet the bolster. Check in with positioning because you might need the bolster just a little further away. And then from there, with the head supported by the bolster, you might just take one foot to release and then alternate it with the other. Or maybe you find you're able to release both feet from the blocks and find some flat. Whenever you feel ready, rocking back into the feet, press into the hands, heels turn out and find your hang. We're going to take this 3 times. Maybe releasing the wrists once more again here. Otherwise, coming back, hands to the mat, heels draw in, drawing back into that yogic squat and finding our Kakasana, our crow with the knees bent. And you might stay with the bolster as support beneath the forehead, or you might choose to roll it out of the way this time. Hands shoulder width apart, knees contracting onto those elbows, and finding one foot at a time to slowly release to find you in your Kakasana. Whenever you feel ready, drawing back, press into the mat, fingertips, heels turn out, forward fold. And at each way here through our journey, at each point of our journey, finding the variation, the version that suits you. Knowing it's our final round, you might release out of the platform, out of the assistance of the blocks, and take your feet to the mat. Hands shoulder width apart, spreading the fingertips nice and wide for stability and support. Knees outside those elbows, finding that grip, drawing forwards and releasing one toe at a time to find your Kakasana. Wherever you are, whatever version, variation of your crow, your Kakasana you're in, release out of it now. We'll take a walk off the blocks. Heels turn out, toes turn in, and hang the head. And so beautiful. And 3 rounds of your Kakasana complete. Going to be taking 3 rounds of Bakasana and slowly working towards those straight arms through the same stages and the same assistance. Now, if you're feeling as though it's enough of a challenge today and you're already wearing your heart on your sleeve and offering it all, these next 3 rounds, stay with 3 more rounds of Kakasana. Difference being is we're now looking to find some extra length and space through the arms and draw the knees a little higher. So we'll come back to our platform and feet back onto the blocks, whatever variation you're taking. Bolster back in play, ready to support the forehead and dropping back down into that Malasana squat, the Yogic Squat. Now, previously with our Kakasana, our elbows were supporting the knees. We're now looking for the knees to tuck into the armpits. So this time, as your hands find the mat, shoulder width apart, and we take the hips to the sky, the bend of the knee drops you into the upper arms and the armpits. You can take a gentle little bend in the elbows and then draw forwards once more again to take that support with the bolster beneath the head. Rocking back and taking your release in either your Malasana or take the hips to the sky and find your forward fold in your Uttanasana. Round 2, Bakasana your way, or staying with Kakasana. Maybe rolling the bolster out of play. Hands to meet the mat, shoulder width apart. Hips to the sky, draw the knees into the armpits. And floating forwards and finding that point of balance with the knees into the backs of the arms. Releasing the feet from the block and finding the arms a little straighter in this one. Let's release out. Finding your Malasana or your Uttanasana. The 6th and final round. Taking your variation, your version, listening to your body. At what point are you giving it all? At what point are you prepared to take your heart to wear it upon your sleeve? Final round, wherever you are, hands shoulder width apart, hips to the sky. And finding the knees to either the elbows for Kakasana or into the armpits for Bakasana. Rocking your weight forwards and finding just 1 foot at a time, or full flight as you find your support. and toes together to touch, and maybe you tuck the heels in towards the sit bones. Wherever you are, find your seat. And slowly invite the sit bones to the mat, extending the legs, adjusting once more to find the bolster beneath the knees, unravel the spine. Let's take the hands overhead, linking the palms, finding your bind. Inhale and find length and space for the ribs and the side body. Exhale, release the breath and surrender. The prep that we did earlier with our 2 blocks, we're going to be closing out with that now. And inviting a release through the chest and the shoulders this time too. Finding your T-section with your blocks. Bolster to support the backs of the knees and the calves. Drawing down to the elbows. Using the hands to tuck beneath the low back to position that block upon your thoracic spine. And slowly releasing the entire thoracic onto that block. Find the support of the block at the back of your head. And this time, as you make your adjustments and find the body supported by the blocks beneath you, we're going to take that bind and inhale, draw the arms overhead. That same space that we found earlier with the body flat, take an inhale and create length through the side body. And then as you exhale, I'm going to release the bind and allow maybe the forearms and the backs of the hands to rest here. Maybe you want to draw your elbows in a little closer and cactus the arms. Or maybe your shoulders are still feeling a little tight and you want to drape the hands down beside the hips. I find it's a really beautiful fluid movement to inhale and draw the fingers back towards the back of the room, and then exhale and take all ranges here as each point, each of those 3 options, wherever you choose to settle into, whether it's just like our breath sent to the low belly and the hands are in alignment with the low belly. Or maybe it's hands beside the mid-ribs, the thoracic, the mid-chest, and maybe this feels comfortable. Or maybe hands are up overhead. Elbows are nice and high and in alignment with those upper ribs, the upper chest. And maybe this feels good. Or maybe you flow through all 3 options, variations, versions, finding a fluidity and finding a connection to sink in with your breath and finding balance. Wherever you are, settle in and find a moment of stillness, your heart open. And yogis, today's align took you opening your heart and offering to the mat some trust, some faith, and wearing your heart upon your sleeve. With your heart now completely exposed, let's release these blocks from the back body, drawing the palms to connect to the mat, chin into chest, release the blocks from beneath the back body in your head, And then slowly find your way back to the mat for your Savasana. And if you're at home and have the luxury of time, please feel free to hit pause now. Otherwise, following along with me by taking both palms and placing them upon your chest. Fingertips to connect, palms to connect to this heart space. Inhale and feel the rise. Exhale and feel the fall. Staying with that sensation of the rise and the fall. Even and equal, in complete synchronicity and balance. Yogis, bring a smile to your face, knowing today you found that alignment within you, that balance within you. Equally so, surrendering and wearing your heart upon your sleeve and finding strength, having trust and faith in the asana and the posture, but more importantly in yourself. And as you inhale one final time and rise, and just as much love and respect for that flight. And as you exhale, offer yourself just as much love and respect for each time you fall. And let's slowly draw the knees into the chest, palms from the chest to your shins. Give yourself a hug. And kicking out that bolster and take a roll to your favorite side. And slowly finding your way back to your seat, keeping the eyes closed down. Hands into prayer. Heart center. Chin into chest. And back body long, spine long, crown to the sky. Inhale. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Fly or fall. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Inhaling once more, yogis. Drawing the chin to rise and gently blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with me today, your gifts with me, offering it all forwards to full autofly. May you continue to wear your heart on your sleeve as you leave the four corners of your mat today, yogis. Namaste.